what's happening in the bond market. Here's the thing, when the market falls, investors tend to rush into safe haven assets like US Treasuries because our government is seen as a very stable place to park extra money. Normally, the more investors buy in, the less Treasuries have to pay because there's so much demand for guaranteed returns. But this time, the opposite happened. The market crashed and Treasury yields went higher, suggesting that investors and countries weren't buying Treasuries anymore, they were in fact selling them. This resulted in interest rates going up during a time the market was going down, the exact opposite of what you would expect to happen historically. And as Deutsche Bank said, the damage has been done. The market is reassessing the structural attractiveness of the dollar as the world's global reserve currency and is undergoing a process of rapid de-dollarization. Or I guess in other words, for the first time in decades, investors were not only pulling their money out of the markets, but also out of the United States. And according to him, this is the most concerning piece since the tariffs began. It's showing a deterioration in confidence in the US's place in the world. Of course, alongside that, there's also the rumor that China was purposely selling off their US Treasuries as a way to force up interest rates and hurt our economy, especially now that they've increased their gold stockpile for the 5th straight month. But I do think it's important to reiterate that this is not 100% confirmed, and I take it with a grain of salt because there's no way of proving it was 100% them. We just have no way of telling. Regardless though, shortly after this, the Federal Reserve went on record to say that they're prepared to intervene in financial markets if liquidity issues arise, basically reassuring everybody that if interest rates spike up too high, they are prepared to artificially bring them back down to save our economy, pretty much reaffirming exactly what Ray Dalio said would happen as countries continue to print themselves into more and more debt that just becomes harder and harder to pay back.